and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. I've got my apron on, the oven's preheated to 200 degrees and we're ready to cook here. And what am I making? Well, I'm going into the More Cooking for One or Two, which is the latest cookbook, and I'm doing an adapted recipe. Yes, this other one is actually in book one, but I'm making individual pizza strudel. So you can use your filo up that you might have got from last week's show when we made the cheese and spinach triangles. But in book one, this is the original recipe just here, and it's pizza strudel. So you make it like a log, like strudel, and you cut it into 4 serves, which is fabulous, but I love the individual thing. Very good for portion control. And you know what? 2 serves, me and Billy, bit of salad, we're good to go. So let's have a look at the ingredients you need for this amazing recipe. So straight up, because you need your filo pastry, yes? We need mushrooms, capsicum, tomato, shallots. Now, in the recipe, it has ham in it, and you need 1/3 cup of diced 97% fat-free ham. But I'm mixing it up today because a few of you, in fact, a lot of you have said, we'd love to see more vegetarian meals or dishes on the show. So I'm switching it up today. So Billy, take the ham, goodbye. You know you can add it if you want. And the fat count of the ham is 7.1. And the vegetarian one I'm doing today is 6.5 grams. So what am I putting in place of ham? I'm putting in celery. And I'll give you some tips like that because there are some good options if you want to change your recipe to vegetarian, how you can do it. I actually say in the recipe book, omit ham for vegetarian strudels and add 1/3 cup of diced celery. So it's actually in there for you. But we're also going to put in 1/2 cup of the 50% reduced fat Bega cheese. I've freshly grated that before we came on. You've got some no added salt tomato paste, parmesan, garlic. Of course you can use fresh, but I'm using my crushed. We've got a little bit of basil and some cooking spray, and as I said, the filo pastry. So what I'm going to do first is make the filling. So let's get started. And what I love about cooking for one or two is everything is in such small amounts. So I only need 1/2 cup of diced mushrooms. Now, of course, you can make more of the individual ones if you wanted to, and you just double the mix. And I don't want big chunks in here. I want it to sort of work its way, you know, like have it all nice mixed together. I probably need more. I've just done the 1 mushroom, but I think we're just a little bit short. All right. So I slice them, then I dice them. Then go over it with your sharp knife so you get much smaller dices. Now, if you don't like mushrooms, then, and you're doing the normal one, you would probably just add celery in. But if you don't like mushrooms, you could put in, what could you put in? Let me think. I have to think about that one because I just like it in the pizza. You could just actually put a little bit more capsicum and a bit more shallot in. That'd probably be my suggestion. Now we also want capsicum and we want 1/2 cup. So diced. Gosh, it helps when your knives are sharp, doesn't it? And remember, don't do really big chunks, just small diced. And your oven is 200 degrees, so it's hot. I still go over it just to make sure I don't have any big chunks. We want 1/2 cup. And don't get too generous and add, like say, oh, look, it's 3/4 cup, it won't matter. You'll have too much filling then and it'll be hard to roll it. So you don't want to do that. I'm going to put in 1/3 cup of celery, diced, And just cut the celery into thin strips. And this is the vegetarian version. Sometimes it's nice to have a veggie day. If you eat a lot of meat, it's very good for your system to just have a meatless Monday, they call it. That looks great. And we want a third. That looks good. And we want a quarter of a cup of shallots. Now, if you don't have shallots, just replace it and do diced onion. I just love anything with the word pizza in it. I'm a huge fan of pizza flavours, as you would know, because I do lots of different things. Pizza, you know, potato bakes, pizzas, pizza breads. I've got, you name it, I've put it in it. Quarter of a cup of shallots. Yep. And then we also want fresh tomato, and we want a quarter of a cup. And you're going to dice it. Everything's diced, okay? I hope you tried the triangles last week, because this is a great way to use up your phyllo. But there's also, I have got strudels, sweet and savoury strudels. I use phyllo for pies, curry top. I've got a beautiful chicken curry with a fancy chicken curry with the phyllo on the top. There we go. That's it. So lots of great recipes. Now we're going to put in half a cup of the grated cheese, reduced fat. Let's put in half a teaspoon of garlic. So it's got a nice pizza flavour. We only want a quarter of a cup of the dried basil because it's quite strong. And remember, we're just making 2. So this serves 2 people. But they're individual, and I like it because then, you know, it's portion controlled as well. Tablespoon of, Kraft Parmesan. Let's move them out of the way. And now we're just going to give it a good mix up. So this is your pizza filling. So it all goes in the bowl and mix it together. So, I mean, my theme for this year is easy, but I also want still the wow. You know, like, so when I do this a lot for dinner parties, because I feel like I can make this filling up, and then all I have to do is put it together when I'm ready to do the meal, put it in the oven. I have a nice salad with it, maybe some crusty bread. But remember, I will explain to you a bit about the phyllo, that it does flop if you have it sitting out for too long. So I'll explain that a little bit further as we go. So I tend to get it ready so that the timing wise it's coming out when I'm ready. So I've got everything else good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to weigh the filling. I want a scraper. Here we go. And I'm going to, because I want to divide it into 2. Because what I try to do it, and I never do, and then one gets a lot more than the other, and I feel like I'm going to do it this way today. That way I know it also helps with the rolling. 313, Billy. So 156. All right. So I need to take this down to 156. There we go. Now I have my 2 serves ready. Let me clean up my mess here. Now the tomato paste is going to go on the phyllo. So let me show you how we're going to do it. I'm going to spray my tray. Just have it there. Just be careful with your phyllo because it's quite delicate. All right, so we unfold it at the front. I love this recipe. It's just really yum. I love the crunch. I love anything crunchy, so like the phyllo does that for me. All right, so put one sheet down and spray. And this is where typically the normal way to do it is to have butter, you know, melted butter, and you just cover in butter. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move that to the side. You turn your phyllo so the shortest edge is facing you, yeah? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one and a half teaspoon, half a teaspoon? No, Bill was telling me, how much is it? Let me look. Yeah. Half a tablespoon, that's 1.5 teaspoons. On the top. Just leave it so it doesn't go all the way to the edge, yeah? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my mix, and I tend to sort of crunch it in my hands a little bit so it doesn't just fall everywhere. Yep. Here we go. Now I'm going to spray it again, and I'm going to bring over the sides. Let me just wash my hands. Spray it again, and then just very carefully, tight as you can, roll it up. Boom. Do you want to do it again? Yes, we do. Isn't it fun? I mean, if you're sick of chops and veggies for dinner, this will do it for you. You can have it with vegetables, you can have it with salad, up to you. Now, please put your phyllo away as soon as you're done with it. You don't want it sitting on the bench. I've got, in this book, I've actually got a apricot strudel, which is magnificent. I've got the sticky tape on there. So you could definitely use that for it. Thank you, Mr. Sym. Let's put that in the fridge. Okay, we're going to turn it again. Remember, turning. Spray it. And then we want that 1.5 teaspoons. So what we need is, in total, we want a tablespoon of tomato paste. And you're just going to spread it along. Here we go. And you see how much easier it was to divide it into two? And that way I know we're both getting exactly what we need from the recipe. Let me wash my hands again. Now you could actually, if you wanted to, you could actually change it without the ham, and you could put cooked chicken in. Yes, you could. And you could also swap it for barbecue sauce instead of tomato paste, if you're liking something different. So you could add chicken to this, and even maybe a little bit of pineapple. All right, rolling it up. Now put the cut side, the loose side at the bottom. Spray again. And I just put a little steam hole in there. Now this is going to go in the oven, and remember it's 200 degrees. and it's going to cook for probably about 25-30 minutes. You want it to be golden brown. So I'm going to do 25. So excited. Look, I'm going to clean the mess up and I'll come back to show off this week's recipe because that's what I want to do. I want to show it off to you because it's so fabulous. See you shortly. All right, the oven's beeping at me. It's all good to go. Oh, it has opened up a little bit, but that's all right. That's why you need to really secure those sides. Probably should have made it a little bit wider on the edge, but that's okay. There we go. Let me just, oh, it's so hot. I'll just do that. Here we go. There it is. There is a delicious lunch. There's Billy's, this is mine. So this is the wonderful, wonderful pizza strudel, but they're individual, remember. And I've done vegetarian, remember. So for all the veggies there, I hope you enjoyed today's show. But as I said, you can always make it with the traditional way with the ham, or even as I suggested, the chicken. Now it's 6.5 grams of fat for the veggie, 7.1 for the ham. But if you want to win, you can win both these books because this is what this recipe is from, and this is the original Sirs 4 for the pizza strudel. All you have to do is like, share, and in the comments, hashtag Simply2Good. Write that in, and I'll pick 3 lucky winners, get them personally signed, sent in the post ASAP. That's right. So now, if you want more recipes or tips, remember to go to simply2good.com.au, and next week, I'm doing another fabulous recipe. I'm a little bit biased, but you say the word crumble to me and you have me at hello. But this is a savoury one, so it's creamy chicken crumble. It's out of book 5. Can't wait to make it for you next week because it's so yum. And I mean, please, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? We've got pizza strudel here. Enjoy, and I'll catch you on next week's show. Bye now.